are going to make a iSCSI connection with the NetApp, and first I'll do the testing with Windows client, which is going to access the iSCSI learn from the NetApp. And this is my NetApp box, which is having a default broadcast domain and a default IP6. So I'll not perform changes regarding broadcast domain. So I'm going to use the default one, and for IP space also I'm going to use the default. I'll create an aggregate on my cluster. This is our present aggregate. Let me check the spare disk. We are having couple of disks, so I'll use 5 out of these for our testing. I'm just going to give a random name XYZ. This count is going to be 5. I'll make read type to be a read DP, and this is for node cluster 1. Likewise, I'll create another aggregate for a cluster 2. Now if I validate, I have created two aggregates, and this will be going to be used for our LUN creation. Like I'll create a LUN on the top of these aggregate, and now since a broadcast domain and IP space is already created, so I'll just create the subnet for our iSCSI connection. I'm going to use default one. Subnet, I'm going to use this is a lab environment, so this is IP segment which is used, and I'm going to specify the IP range for the subnet. And IP space is going to be the okay, it changes IP space. IP space is going to be default, and the gateway is going to be 192.168.0.1. So I'm almost assigning 6 IPs for subnet. Now I'll create vServer. SAN vServer. subtype is default. I'll just specify the aggregate where it need to be placed. It is going to be X, Y, Z. Then this is the root volume name which I'm going to specify. Snapshot is going to be default, and I just want to specify data. And these are the default configuration. Even if I'll not specify, then also it is going to take the same values. So I'll just specify the one which is required for my testing. It's data iSCSI because I want iSCSI connection. Going to access using IP space default, and going to run for control. So this will create a vServer, which is on GUI we call it as SVM, storage virtual machine, and we have created this vServer. As of now, the protocol is not configured, even DNS is not configured. So we are just going to configure the DNS and the services, iSCSI services for our vServer. iSCSI create. Then I'm just going to give target alias to be same as the name of our vServer, and I'm going to make it up for this one, and vServer name is this. So for this vServer we are going to activate the iSCSI services. Now if I go over here in the graphical, we can see that the iSCSI has been enabled. However, DNS is not configured, so I'm just going to create the interface, and then I'll configure the DNS. Otherwise, the DNS wouldn't be reachable if I don't have the leaf configured. This is for our iSCSI 1, because we are going to create two leaves, one for the controller 1, another for the controller 2. Home node is going to be our cluster 01, and role is going to be for data purpose. So likewise we'll create for 2 as well, another leaf. Now if we go and validate in the GUI, we can see that 2 leaves has been assigned to this. So I can configure DNS services on this particular vServer, because now I have a leaf which will able to reach out to the DNS server. DNS create hyphen domain. This is a demo.netapp.com, and vServer is going to be server is going to be this name, and the name server IP is 192.168.0.253. So since this warning came because it wants us to configure more than one DNS for our test environment, one is enough. So like it wants us to configure more than one for the redundancy. If this particular DNS it goes unavailable, then there will be a problem. So since it's a lab environment, we'll ignore this warning. And we got the iSCSI services enabled. Now what we'll do, we'll create the LUN, and in order to create the LUN, first we'll create the volume. SAN LUN 1 aggregate is going to be XYZ, and size is going to be 5 GB. State is going to be online. So I just create this volume which will be utilized for creating our LUN. So I'll create LUN. LUN name is going to be SAN LUN 01, and size is going to be 5 GB. OS type is going to be Windows. Space reserve is disabled. We are not going to reserve any space. Space allocation is disabled, and a class is regular. And on which vServer we need to configure, it is going to be our vServer, SAN vServer, and we have created 5 GB LUN. So this LUN is created. We have created the LUN on vServer, but still it is not mapped to the server, and we are going to use this machine to map the LUN which we have created. So we'll go and get the iSCSI values. So this is the iSCSI value which we are going to utilize for mapping purpose. So I'll just create the I group, create. I'm just going to name it as Win01. Protocol is going to be protocol is going to be mixed. OS type is going to be Windows, and here we'll provide the initiator with which we want to mapping. We have created the LUN, we have created the I group. Now we have to perform the mapping. In order to perform the mapping, I just need a exact path. So that's why I use the df-h command. I'm going to map this learn, and I group is win01 to perform the mapping. So I'll just validate it is mapped or not. So this has been mapped and the learn id 0 has been assigned to this learn. So we'll check in the graphical interface as well. If we'll go over here in the host, we can see the iSCSI connection for like this Windows is iSCSI number. With we just did the map in order to see the mapping of the learn. Just check this one. This learn having this path is mapped to Windows 01. So we can have all this information here. Now you'll see we have to discover, because we can't see any target right now. To discover, we'll simply go over here and specify the IP for which has been assigned to this. So on networks, 192.168.0.133. Okay, once we add this one, we'll go in targets and it is still inactive, so we'll perform the connection. In order to perform the connection, we'll enable the multipathing. And this is 133 is our target. We'll activate it. Now inactive to it become connected. We'll go on properties and we'll add the another path. (134). Okay. So both the paths are added in this one. We'll click OK on this one. So we have enabled, and now we'll go into our computer manager. In our disk management, we find the 5 GB which we have created. We'll make it online. Initialize the disk. We'll go with the default configuration. And we assign the drive letter E to this one. We can explore, we can write the data in this one. This is the iSCSI learn assigned. And this is how the iSCSI connection happens from NetApp to Windows. If you want to check more information, here we'll check the properties. Hardware, we can see this property, the LAN ID 0 has been assigned. And here in MPIO we can see round robin configuration, and here you'll see that one path is optimized and other path is unoptimized. So this is a Lua configuration, and Yeah, I think that's it. This is the how procedure how we do the iSCSI connection with the Windows. In next lab, we will cover iSCSI connection with the Linux host. Yeah, thank you.